So with the UCAT, it's important to not only get questions right, but to also do this quickly, and this is where things get tricky. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Raina, I'm a 4th year dental student, and today I'm back with another UCAT video all about 5 ways to improve your speed and save time in the UCAT. The exam is annoyingly tight with time to help differentiate between candidates, but there are a few tips and tricks to help with this. And this video has also been very kindly sponsored by Medify, which is an amazing UCAT question bank that I used myself, and I'll be explaining more about how they can help you improve your time and accuracy later on in the video. So here are the timings for each section of the UCAT. It's different for each section, so you get a different amount of time per question, but they all have 1 minute of instruction time before. As you can see, abstract reasoning is really not messing around by giving you only 14 seconds per question, so it's important to be aware of how long these timings actually feel like when practicing so you can automatically keep track of time during the section. The first tip I'd give to save time in the UCAT is to guess, flag and move on from difficult questions. To do this, you first need to know how long you roughly have per question per section, and also be able to recognise easy versus more difficult questions. Each question is worth the same number of marks, so you definitely want to secure the marks on easier questions first, so when you come to a harder or more time-consuming question, you can take an educated guess at it, flag the question and move on. Then at the end, if you have enough time left for that section, you can come back to that question and try again. I'd say that guessing, flagging and moving on is particularly important in the abstract reasoning section, as the timing is so tight in this section. Obviously with all of this, know your own strengths and weaknesses with each section. What other people say is generally a difficult question, you might actually find easier, and that's okay. Go with what you know about your own abilities from practicing. This is arguably the most effective and important way to improve your speed and accuracy in the UCAT, and that is to use timed practice. Luckily, my favourite resource Medify has thousands of timed questions, as well as 21 full timed mock tests and 42 timed mini mock tests. You really need to do timed practice as early as possible in your revision, firstly to set a baseline of how fast you are whilst maintaining accuracy, and then to keep improving on this time so you feel more comfortable with each section. Using Medify will make timed practice so much easier for you because you can choose how many question sets you want to practice and how much time you want to give yourself to. In the beginning, you might want a bit more time as you're still picking up how to do things, and then decrease this time limit as you get faster. So if you're interested in getting a head start with your timed practice today, I'll leave a link to Medify in the description box down below. Another really underrated tool that actually does help you to save time in a few different sections is the Whiteboard, or laminated noteboard as UCAT like to call it. You will get this with a pen before you start the test, and you can use this throughout the exam in various ways to help you save time. In quantitative reasoning and decision making, you'll definitely need it to write down different values or steps of a calculation that you can't do in your head, and this saves time as often you need values from a previous question to work out the next one, so you don't have to go back and work it all out again, it's all there in front of you. For abstract reasoning, I personally used the Whiteboard to write down the scans rule in the 1 minute instruction time before starting, and any other difficult rules that I'd come across during practicing. This means that you're not having to think about these again during the section, and you can quickly refer back to this. One skill that will also help you to save time throughout the UCAT is speed reading. This is particularly important in verbal reasoning where you'll need to quickly skim through passages to find the answer, but generally throughout you're going to have to read the stems of questions, like in decision making and quantitative reasoning, and passages in situational judgment as well. So if you can get through this information quicker, it will leave you more time to actually think about the answer. To increase your reading speed, you want to fixate less on specific words as you go along each line, and also try to stop subvocalization, which is that annoying voice in your head whilst you're reading that slows you down. With practicing more VR questions, I found that you can start to read more down the middle of each paragraph, so you're not reading absolutely every word at the start and end of each line. One other time-saving skill particularly needed in quantitative reasoning and decision making is mental maths. Whenever you come across a calculation, you want to think, okay, how much of this can I actually do in my head that will save me time by not having to write on the whiteboard or use the on-screen calculator? Of course, this will generally just be for the easier calculations or initial steps of a calculation, which you need to learn to recognize, but this will save you lots of time by working things out in your head instead. Another way that you can really speed up the way you navigate through the exam is by using keyboard shortcuts rather than clicking every time with the mouse. There are a few essential ones that I used throughout, so there's Alt+N to get to the next question, Alt plus P to go to the previous question, Alt plus flag flags a question, and Alt plus C brings up the calculator. So you can also use the keyboard to mark answers, so if you press the A key, that would mark the answer A, and I'll also leave any other shortcuts that I came across in the description box down below. Specifically also when you're using the on-screen calculator, always use the numbers on the right hand side of your keyboard. You just need to press the number lock button to activate the number keyboard, and this will make it so much faster to input the numbers into your calculator. I do have a whole video on the calculator, link up here, which goes into much more depth about how to use the functions and also which functions save time. So have these keyboard shortcuts memorized before the exam and try to practice them on mock tests with a full-size keyboard that has all the keys and functions if you can, rather than your laptop keyboard, because that's not quite the same. If you don't have one at home and you don't want to get one, you could always try the library or the computers at school. So if you enjoyed this video, here is a playlist of my other UCAT videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next one. Bye!